Hey guys, today is April the 6th of 2022, and I want to go over the uranium spot price using Gann cycle, different technical analysis to show you what I see and what I see in the future. I also want to say that I'm traveling. That's why my audio hasn't been consistent and my video intro hasn't been consistent because I'm using a laptop. But since I love the markets, I love analyzing, I love researching, I love researching Gann's theory and other theories, and it's in my blood. So I just can't stop researching. So I wanted to go over uranium spot price. The last video I did was in January of 2022, and I wanted to do a quick update since a lot has happened since January. And also, I want to say that I bought a blue snowball ice mic here out in New Orleans. I went to Office Depot and picked one up, and hopefully sounds good. I got tired of just listening to my voice with the laptop mic and just needed to do an upgrade. So without any further delay, hope you appreciate it and hope the volume and the sound quality is way better because this is going to be my travel mic when I have to travel in the future. So let's get into the uranium spot price. I want to start off with a cycle analysis. There's a couple of cycles that are important. I call them the big picture cycle. Using the uranium spot price, going back all the way to 1980, the one that pops out that is the biggest cycle is the 311 using these data points. This is the 311 cycle, and it's some good correlation. You know that we bottomed out here in 2016, but the bottom really came in here, and I'm going to show you a lot of stuff. I mean, it's going to blow your mind. So if you could get to watch this whole video and it's complete, I'm not going to put myself limits on time. I want to give you the good stuff. If you are a uranium bug, you're at the right place because you're going to get stuff here that you probably won't see anywhere else, especially using esoteric and like deep analysis and breaking down everything. And then you just have to decide, what you want to do with this information. But I'm showing you the big pictures. I'm showing you cycles. I'm going to show you some Gann techniques that is going to give you an edge and kind of give you some confidence on what's happening with the uranium spot price. You can see that right here, we're bottoming out using this 311 cycle. This thing peaks out somewhere around 2034. Is uranium going to continue going higher all the way to 2034? That remains to be seen. But this is the biggest cycle I have in regards to this data set going up to 2034. Then there's a next one that is 173. 173 peaks out somewhere around November of 2023. And then the cycle goes down into December of 2030, and it hasn't gone up to project. But that's what we have of 173. So if you were to just do a composite means merging two cycles together to kind of get some kind of forecast. Of those two cycles, this is what you're getting. It peaks up here somewhere around April of 2025, around there, pulls back down or goes sideways to January 2029, and it hasn't even finished the projection line going all the way to 2034. That's using those two. So to recap, the 311 peaks out somewhere around 2034. The 173 peaks out somewhere around November, 2023, November, December. And you do a composite of those two, of the bigger cycles. This is the projection you get. 2025, somewhere around January, February, kind of peaks out, pulls back in, and it goes back up. So those are the big cycles that we have on the uranium spot price. Now there's another category I call them growing. It's the 102 and the 81. And mind you, this data set that I have, these are monthly close. So it's a little different. This is not daily. This is monthly close of uranium spot. So this is what the 102 cycle looks like. The 102 cycle is a little more smaller. You could probably say maybe this is like midterm. It peaks out somewhere on October 23rd, pulls back down around January of 2028, and then it goes back up on January of 2031, 2032, December, January, around there. So that's the 102 cycle. That's the one I call growing. The other one is this 81 cycle that I figure I show it to you because it's kind of close and, growing in the sense of the 102. This one peaked out on March and it pulls back down to June of 2024. So this one is the one that is not kind of in sync with what price action is doing. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. 81 is the only one that it's a little off. It's not in sync with what's going on. Some may say, well, you know what? Maybe it got inverted. And that inverted right there what gave it that explosion. But that's all in the eyes of the beholder. All I'm showing you is that the cycle is down, but price action is going up. So if you want to play the invert cycle, then maybe it's going to continue going up and it's going to peak out somewhere around June of 2024 if this cycle is going to be playing out into the future. But I don't want to go there. I just want to cover the cycles. So the 102 is in sync. The 311 is in sync with higher price. And the 173. Now I want to go over the smaller cycle, which I call it the dominant cycle. Dominant cycle is 46. It fluctuates. You can see that it fluctuates. It hits a high here. We kind of hit a peak. It bottoms out here, but it's not really perfect. Let's open this up a little more. This is the dominant cycle. As you can see how I'm going up, you can see price action while, it's perfect and it is not perfect. So there is imperfections in it. And then right here, somewhere around December 2016, it goes up. While the cycle's going down, it goes sideways. So you can see that it's not going to crash. It's not going to go lower. It just means it kind of stalls. And then it kind of goes up and the cycle goes up. And this is where we're at right now, where the cycle now is going up to November of 22. So this is more like short term. If you've seen my videos, I always look at the short term, the midterm, and then the bigger picture. The bigger picture is the big picture. As an example, the monthly, the weekly, and the daily. The daily is the short term, the weekly is the midterm, and the monthly is the big picture. So look at it like that. When I do the simple glance market recap, that's the kind of stuff, short term, daily, midterm, weekly. This is the short term. So this is the dominant cycle, 46, and it peaks out somewhere around October of 22 of this year. So you could kind of play around and see, possible outcomes. You could take the shortest with the biggest and kind of see that this is now a composite of the 46 and the 311. As you can see, it's going to go higher, it'll go pull back, it'll go higher, it'll pull back into that top cycle of the 311. That one peaks out somewhere around November 22nd, and it pulls back. Now you could pick the 173 with the 46, the dominant cycle, and you see that it peaks out somewhere around December. And the reason why you see it pulling back all these years is due to the fact that the 173 peaks out somewhere around December of 2023, and then it has a down cycle. The key is that the problem is that we don't know which of these cycles are the ones that are going to be playing out with the uranium spot price. The analysis is just picking out the strongest ones in regards to the cycles. So this one peaks out a little earlier into next year of November, while the 311 is just starting to ramp up. So you got one it's just going on, big picture, and then you have the 173 that's kind of getting toppy somewhere around here. Which honestly kind of makes sense, that maybe it could get toppy around here since we just had this nice long run. So this could probably play out just because I don't believe in something, going all the way straight up, to eternity. I could kind of see things kind of pulling back, cycles turning up and down. So that kind of makes sense to me. And with the 46, which is more fractal, more, slower, more like, shorter time frame, you could get that those, turns here and there. So that is, and then you could put all three, and this is what you get. So you got the dominant cycle, you got the 311, the 173. This is what you get. Somewhere around December or January of next year, it starts pulling in and then it goes back up. Now, if you want to do the ones that are growing, not the 173 or the 311, we could do this. I'm going to exclude the 81 just due to the fact that that one is the one that's a little off in regards to the cycles. So this is the 46 with the 102 cycle. And why is it going down? Because the 102 cycle, which is the one I call growing, tops out somewhere around October 2023. At the 46, and you get the January pretty much of next year, it pulls back in. And when that means it pulls back in, it just could just go sideways. But but also it could follow these curves and projections. Now, for just to see what the 81 will look like, since that's on a downturn, that's what it's showing right now. I figured I'd just show it to you. That way you can see that, the data is the data. And this is what, comes up. Somewhere around June, July, pull back, October, and then go up, and then it fluctuates. So this is just all, speculation. I'm just showing you what these cycles are showing. The important thing is that, and the good thing is that we're making higher highs and higher lows. What I find a little concerning, and it's just, I don't know, it's just interesting, is that uranium spot is pushing high, and we're about to kiss the Fukushima high right here, which was somewhere around $65. We're not that far off. That's going to be a nice level of resistance if we ever get up there. What's interesting and concerning to me is that uranium spot has been pushing higher, and the leader, from what I could tell with the data and what I've been seeing in the charts right now, is Cameco. I don't know about Kazatomprom, KAS. I think that's the symbol. I don't really follow it that much. I probably should, just to kind of have it on my radar. But the leader, from what I've seen, is that Cameco is the one that's really been pushing, and everybody else is just kind of lagging a little bit. I'm very surprised about URA not even taking out the November 8th high. That is very interesting. I mean, that's an ETF. That's a powerful ETF. There's a lot of stocks in there. I don't know why. Just find it very interesting. I don't know what's the dynamic, what's going on, the reason why is behind it. I'm not too sure, and I don't know. But price action is always key and is king. And if it was really strong, it would have taken out that November high and it could have been leading the pack with everybody else, but it hasn't. So that's a little concerning. Then also Cameco, very strong, took out the November 8th high of 28.49 and pushed even higher to March the 23rd, which is at 38.49 high. That shows me sign of strength. And now we're having a tough time, but there's a lot of Gann technique that I use that was telling me that, that there's probability that, March 23 is going to be very key if we can't even push higher. So that's why I always had it on my radar. And other stuff that I use. So it'll be interesting to see how this is all going to play out. And then, you look at all the miners and all the producers and all that, and they are kind of lagging. Maybe a couple have taken out that November high, but there's a whole bunch that haven't really taken out that November 8 high, but there's a few, and Cameco is one of them. That's why I always say that maybe this is the one that's leading the pack. But I'll leave it there. Now we're going to go into the master chart. I just wanted to show you what the cycles are saying. So big picture, higher prices. And now we adding the Russia thing and, maybe sanctions against Russia. Maybe Russia's going to say, the hell with you. I'm not giving no one uranium. That could really escalate things higher. But that's all speculation. We don't know. Maybe in the next couple of months, this all gets squashed and if we go back to normal, I'm not too sure. But there's a lot of things going on, a lot of dynamics, a lot of data points coming every day, and a lot of news events that could always get this market going up and then straight down. Today, FOMC or something with the Fed. So who knows what's going to happen? The last I seen on Cameco is that it is turning down. A lot of my stocks are turning down too. So we'll see how it's going to play out. So next is going to be the master chart. Okay, here is the master chart, and I'm going to have to break this in two stages. This will be the first part here in this big video clip. I wanted to show you some key things using Gann cycle. So this is going to be kind of educational, at the same time showing you some of the techniques and what I follow and what I use, Gann technique. And I want you to see how it kind of works out with the uranium spot price. So first off, you guys know that Gann used certain cycles, certain numbers to use his forecasting. One you can see right here is the 20-year cycle, culminated right somewhere around here of, you can say probably March of 2021, February 2021, February or March, culminated right here. And this area right here is what I call a cluster. When I say cluster, it's because there's a lot of things lining up in the same area. That's very important in Gann's research. When you have a lot of things culminating, just kind of lining up in one little area. And I want to show you what I have discovered. So you got the 20 and using Gann's cycles. This is just Gann's technique. This is what he discovered. And I'm applying it on the uranium spot price. And I'm just showing you what the cycles are showing. So you got the 20-year cycle somewhere around here. You have the all-time high, which is $136.22. If you could convert that, Gann was a prominent advocate about saying price and time always is locked together. $136.22. You take that, and convert that into years. 13 years, 0.622 brings you right here, right there, which is that somewhere around February, March, around there. And I made a note, 2007 high, price and time, 13.622 years, leads you right here. So you have the 20-year cycle ending here from the all-time low Remember, I'm taking key levels. I know these are fractal over here, but I'm taking key levels and using Gann cycle time work. You got 20 years right here. You got the all-time high, 136.22. You could convert that into years. This is a lot of data. 16.622 years brings you somewhere around here. Let's continue. You take the Fukushima high of March 11th of 2011, add 10 years, it brings you right here, February, March, April, somewhere around there. Fukushima 10-year cycle right here. You take all these clusters and line them up here, and then you see what price action. And then I didn't even cover the 1850. I think it was weeks. I can't remember. I minimized it. Gave me a possible swing low here, swing top, and it kind of played out. Not it kind of, it did play out. And it pulled back in. But then it pulled back in. It's just amazing when you just research this stuff. It pulled back in to get this nice explosion because everything lined up in Gann's theory. Like what he says about cycles, look at the past to forecast the future. So 10 years from here, got the Fukushima. 20 years from the all-time low brings you here. Take the all-time high, 136.22, convert that into years, brings you here. And then all of a sudden, this thing just exploded. I didn't think it was going to go this high. I thought it was going to take some years going, couple of years, pulling back, going back up and down, up and I didn't know that everything was going to explode to this proportion. So now, what am I looking into the future? Well, one of Gann's number is a 7-year cycle. So from the 2016 low, 7 years brings you in roughly around 2023 of 12, December, pretty much December of 2023. Just to keep on your radar, if you're into Gann research, this is the kind of stuff you make notes and put them in. So when the future comes, we're like, all right, we're entering the 7-year cycle. Let's see what's going on. That's the kind of mindset you have to have if you're going to be a Gann researcher. 7-year cycle goes into that. From the all-time high, we're entering a 15. From the all-time low to this low, that was 15 years and change. Most of the time, this is not exactly on the number, but this happened to be. But in my research, I've seen it hit exactly, and I've seen it fluctuate. So 15 years from the all-time high, this is one of Gann's cycles, leads me into June, I guess say June of 2022, which is this year. So I have this on my radar, and I have this on my radar as of now. I just wanted to show you Gann's cycle. Says Gann stuff is just so huge, and it's just like an immense, it's like a library of technical analysis. I just break things apart, and I break things in departments. So I have like a cycle chart, which I take important highs and lows and just forecast into the future. And you can just see how things are just kind of playing out. And now I have a low to where we're at right now. So we're 64 and change months going up, just 5 years and change going up. And I'm just tracking things as we go into the future. But these are the key things now I'm looking into the future. So I'm going to leave it here. Just wanted to show you how, amazing cycle works of Gann, and just taking what he's taught and his manuals and just applying it on something that no one really looks at, which is the uranium spot price. But I'm sure that in the future, they're going to be looking at it, or they're already looking at into it now. This is the kind of thing that, fascinates me, and applying Gann's theory and see if it works. And so far, what I've seen, this is amazing, in regards to timing. So I'm going to go into the next clip, and I'm going to show you the squaring and other techniques and levels that I want you to be, concerned. Okay, so this is probably the last clip, this presentation. Just want you to see from the all-time low to the all-time low to this low here, it has a higher low. And also we have a trend line here. You can see the prices are exploding up. Target as of right now is at $65, and we're somewhere around 60 and 70. I'm using futures, a UX1 price, but once the data I use for close of the month is from Chemicals website. This is where we're at right now. Short-term target is at $65 at Fukushima high. That was very strong resistance right there, and I can see Chemical testing that. Target that I have, if it pushes higher, is going to be that $77 range. I'm going to show you using the pitchfork from the all-time low, all-time high, and our current low of 2016. You can see that this is the 50%. This is what Gann called the center of gravity. And 77, plus if you're a Gannist, 77 will spark, curiosity. I just leave it at that. The 77 is going to be the target, my ultimate target. If we hit Fukushima high 65 and kind of stutter there, or go even higher and and have a head fake for the bulls and then push it back lower, that all remains to be seen. And then if it pushes higher and then it hits 77, that's the target I have. And it could go higher. I'm just saying this is the realistic target using Gann's technique. That price action is always going to go back to the medium, and that's the center of gravity. So that's my ultimate target, even though this could be probably, short-term resistance. That's the target I'm looking for, 77. That's the pitchfork. And what I want to show you right now here is the square from the all-time high to this current low. Right here, we're hitting the 1/8. We're about to. Let's log in right here. This is where we're at. This is going to be the 1/8 level, which is 62, 67. If we get to close above that and push higher, then obviously it's going to be the Fukushima high 65 target. So now we're going to push even higher above Fukushima high and be as bullish as it could be. Then the next target is going to be 77, which lines up with the target I've been forecasting from the longest, $77. And that's using the all-time high to this current low using the Gann square. Now we go and use the Gann square. This is a Michael S. Jenkins technique where you take the high and then you do the 25% from here. You look at my YouTube videos, you can see the Michael S. Jenkins Gann box. You get an idea. Right now we're at, which is 62.53. That's going to be the 1/4. So there's going to be some resistance there. And plus this angle that is shooting up and the Fukushima high. So we're going to be entering, some rough, bumpy roads soon once we start hitting 62.53, 65, somewhere around there. That's using that technique. And then the other technique here is taking the all-time low and the all-time high of a 25% up here. You can see that right now we're hitting resistance. If we zoom in closer, we're above that angle, which is pretty good. It's 60-70 holding, but with this data set, it's all about the monthly close. So we could be piercing up there, but if we close below it, it's that's the important part. So if we could stay above this angle, and push and close higher than the Fukushima 65 high, then your target still remains 71, between 71 and 77. So that's the halfway point. Those are the levels of resistance and targets that I'm looking for. So hopefully you like this video. I think I'm going to leave it there. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to show you. I showed you cycles. I showed you Gann cycles. When I say cycles, I talk about spectrum cycles, pulling them out of the data set and seeing what's the data showing. I showed you Gann cycles, which is just kind of static cycles from important highs, important lows, and maybe swing points. And lastly, I used the Gann square to show you key levels of possible resistance and to be concerned in regards to price levels. Hopefully you like this video. Probably the next video I'll probably do maybe in the next maybe three months from now. Was it April, maybe July, and see where we at, around there. June, July, seasonally, on Cameco, it's more on the lower side in regards to a seasonality. So we'll see where we at on that. So hopefully you like this video, and I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on the uranium spot price using double Gann price and time technical analysis.